Good evening. Tonight, I want to share a very special submission with you. He is 16 years old. He has a girlfriend, 17. They've known each other for a long time since they were 14, in the serious kind of way. And now his girlfriend is 8 months pregnant with his daughter. He said, "I don't want to be a dad, but I will be." That's just how it is. When he said it, there was no rebellion, no anger, only a kind of calm that feels almost cruel for someone his age after it happened. His parents said one sentence: "Since you made an adult decision, you need to take adult responsibility." Then they started charging him rent, utilities, internet, cable. Every dollar he earns from his part-time job is taken. They say he's in the negative every month, owing them thousands. He can't even afford a pair of shoes. His toenails got infected because he's been wearing his younger brother's old shoes too small. And here's the irony: his girlfriend's parents bought him a new pair of shoes. He didn't feel touched. He said, "I don't want to owe them either." Do you see it? He's already been crushed by the word owe. His parents are using the word responsibility to carry out a punishment, and a 16-year-old boy is trying, with a self-respect already full of cracks, to hold the weight of a newborn in most U.S. states. Minors under 18 do not have the legal capacity to sign contracts. Parents charging rent to a minor and collecting debt from them does not stand on firm legal ground. Parents have a legal obligation to support their children until they turn 18. They can choose to impose adult responsibility, but that's more of a moral stance than a legal one, of course. I'm not suggesting you tell your parents, "Go sue me." But I want you to know, you do not legally owe them that debt. They are scared. They are angry. They don't know how to face the reality that my 16-year-old son is about to become a father. So they choose the most primitive response: control, punishment, threats. This is not your fault. He said he plans to leave home after school ends in June. His girlfriend's parents told him, "If you help take care of the baby and share responsibility, you don't have to pay rent." This is an exit, not a shining fairy tale exit, but a real one. A place where you can breathe. There are 3 key points I want to say to anyone in a similar situation. First, accepting help is not weakness. He said, "I don't want to owe them." I understand that pride. But when you're 16 and raising a child, you don't have the luxury of rejecting kindness. Accept help and one day pass it on. That's not debt. That's a cycle. Second, finishing your education is the baseline. I don't know which country he's in, but anywhere. Finishing high school is the foundation for every future possibility. If your girlfriend's parents are willing to provide housing, use that opportunity to stay in school. Third, you and your girlfriend are teammates, not enemies, not people who blame each other. You are both teenagers. What you need is we face this together, not "this is your fault." Your life is not over, but it has changed forever. Those 2 things are not contradictory. You lost a normal adolescence. You may lose the carefree high school life. You may lose freedoms others your age still have. But you are not finished. Do you know how many people in their 30s or 40s face the idea of being responsible for another life for the first time and still feel lost, still feel like they're done? You're facing it at 16. That's not a blessing. That's a fact. And the truth is, those who face it early sometimes gain things others don't: resilience, the loss of naive illusions, and the understanding that you cannot afford to fall apart while others are still figuring things out. These are not things only failures have. If you are listening to this story, if you are that boy, I want to say a few things to you. Those shoes that are too small, you will take them off soon. Those words your parents said, "You're done, you'll never be anything," those are their fears, not your sentence. The day your daughter is born, you will be afraid. You will feel like you know nothing. That's normal. Every father feels that way. They just had 10 more years to pretend they were ready. You don't need to be a perfect father. You just need to be present, be there, be responsible. Don't run. That alone is already more than many adults can do. The second story, at 22. Mark and his wife Rose welcomed their first daughter, Sarah, young and poor. But they pushed through life together. They thought the hardest road was behind them until Sarah turned 15. She got pregnant. During that time, Sarah went to therapy, but she never revealed who the father was. Mark and Rose didn't press her. Sometimes, not asking is the greatest gentleness parents can offer. At first, Sarah wanted to terminate the pregnancy. Then she considered adoption at 5 months pregnant. A couple was going to adopt the baby, but backed out at the last moment. While working with a social worker to find another family, Sarah asked her parents one question: would you be willing to adopt? Mark and Rose were 38 at the time and had already been considering having another child. So when Sarah gave birth at 16, the baby Ellie was adopted by her grandparents. 2 years later, Mark and Rose had a son, Logan. This is a carefully folded family. On the surface, Ellie is their youngest daughter, and Logan is her younger brother. In reality, Ellie is Sarah's daughter. And Logan is Sarah's biological child's half-brother, which means Logan is technically Ellie's uncle. And Ellie calls Sarah her sister. Are you confused yet? Wait. There's more. Sarah never grew close to Ellie after giving birth. She moved out and lived with Rose's sister. She treated Logan warmly, like a normal sister, but kept her distance from Ellie. Once, Mark saw a family photo on Sarah's social media that should have included 5 people, but Ellie had been cropped out. When he confronted Sarah, she said, "It's too painful." But years ago, Sarah showed up drunk at their door, crying, begging to see her daughter. It was the first time she publicly used the word daughter for Ellie. Later, Mark learned from Sarah's husband that she had suffered multiple miscarriages and was told to consider surrogacy. 4 years ago, Sarah had twins Jack and Jill through surrogacy. These twins are Sarah's biological children, meaning they are Ellie's half-siblings, and Ellie loves being their aunt. Yes, Ellie calls Sarah sister and calls the twins her niece and nephew. Sarah seems comfortable with this arrangement, even inviting Ellie over to spend time with the family along with Logan, who enjoys being an uncle. Now pause for a moment and think, who in this family is truly happy? Now, Ellie is 16. She comes to Mark and Rose and tells them she's pregnant. Unlike Sarah's situation, this time Mark and Rose met the father. He's Ellie's childhood friend. The 2 teenagers decided to lose their virginity to each other. Mark and Rose handled the situation calmly. Meeting the boy and his parents, Ellie insists on keeping the baby. At this point, Mark writes to me, not really asking me, but submitting the story as a nighttime emotional storyteller. He says they are considering telling Ellie the truth, but they need Sarah to be present. He asks, how should they handle this? How will Sarah cope? Dear friends, I was silent for a long time after hearing this story. Let me try to untangle it. In this family, there are 2 16-year-old pregnant girls, Sarah and Ellie. Sarah's child was adopted by her own parents. Ellie decides to keep her child. 2 generations, same age, same situation, but completely different choices. This reminds me of a concept in psychology: intergenerational transmission trauma. Secrets and unresolved emotions are often passed down like heirlooms. Sarah never processed her trauma of getting pregnant at 16. She either doesn't know who the father is or refuses to say. She gave up raising Ellie, but never truly let go. She cropped Ellie out of photos, yet cried drunkenly to see her daughter. She couldn't get close to Ellie, yet after having twins, invited Ellie into her life as an aunt. She loves Ellie in a deeply conflicted way. Getting close hurts. Staying away also hurts. Acknowledging Ellie as her daughter means confronting her own vulnerability, shame, and loss at 16. Denying it means rejecting the reality that she once carried this life. So she placed Ellie in a middle ground, sister. This way, she can love her without fully taking responsibility. She can be close without fully acknowledging the loss. But the problem is Ellie knows none of this. She believes she is Mark and Rose's daughter. She believes Sarah is her sister. She believes the twins are her niece and nephew. She has lived in this carefully constructed identity for 16 years, and now she is pregnant. If you were Mark and Rose, what would you do? Would you tell Ellie the truth? My view is this: you must tell her, and you must tell her before she gives birth. Why? Because Ellie is about to become a mother. A mother has the right to know her own origins, her child's genetic background, and her family's medical history. More importantly, if no one tells her, she will discover it someday, and the way she discovers it will likely be far more brutal. Think about it. Ellie already has a deep bond with the twins. One day, she might casually take a DNA test and realize that the children she thought were her niece and nephew are actually her siblings. She will discover that her life is a book with its opening pages torn out. She won't even know where her story truly begins. But I also understand Sarah's fear. She says she's not ready. She may never be ready. Because being ready means facing a reality. The child she gave up at 16 has grown into a 16-year-old girl who is now living through the same experience. It's a blinding mirror. Ellie's pregnancy will pull Sarah back to that helpless teenage girl she once was. She will see what might have happened if her parents hadn't adopted Ellie. She will see what her life could have been if she had made different choices. So she chooses to delay, to hide the truth a little longer. But dear Sarah, your daughter no longer has time to wait. Your daughter is carrying a new life. And you, the biological grandmother of that child, can only stand beside her as a sister. I want to say a few words to Mark and Rose. You are the quiet pillars of this story. You caught your daughter's fallen child when she was 16. You became parents again at 38. You carried a secret for 16 years. And now you are facing another teenage pregnancy. You have already done enough. But now it is time to return the truth to the person it belongs to. Ellie has the right to know who she is. Sarah has the right to be forgiven, but only if she is willing to face the truth. And you have the right to stop carrying this burden alone. When you tell Ellie, remember this: do not make her feel like her life is a mistake. Let her know she was caught in love. Let her know her grandparents chose her. Let her know her birth was not a disaster, but the beginning of a family learning how to love again. As for Sarah, she may break down. She may get angry. But believe this: a mother who once cried, begging to see her daughter, is someone who longs, deep down, to be forgiven. She just doesn't know how to begin. Finally, I want to say this to everyone listening. Every family has secrets, but some secrets, the longer they are hidden, the deeper they hurt. Truth does not destroy, love, lies do. That's all for tonight's story. If it were you, when and how would you tell Ellie the truth? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. This story is adapted from real submissions. Personal details have been anonymized.